Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapraya Vareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Version Bhagavad Canto, chapter 5, text number 14 onwards. Chapter is entitled Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Tato anyatha kinchan yadvivakshata prithak drishastat krita rupanamabhi na karhichit kvapi chadustita matir labhet vata hat nor ivaspadam. Whatever you desire to describe that is separate in vision from the Lord, simply react different forms and names to agitate the mind. As the wind agitates a boat that has no resting place. So anything, Narada Muni is saying, anything that is described in separation and vision from the Lord means that it's not connected with the Lord. It simply agitates the mind and does nothing else. Purport. Sri Vyasa Dev is the editor of all descriptions of the Vedic literatures, and thus he has described transcendental realizations in different ways, namely by fruitive activities, speculative knowledge, mystic power, and devotion service. Besides that, in his various Puranas, he has recommended the worship of so many demigods in different forms and names. The result is that people in general are puzzled how to fix their minds in the service of the Lord. They're always disturbed about finding the real path of self-realization. Sri Narada Dev is stressing this particular defect in the Vedic literatures compiled by Vyasa Dev. And thus he is trying to emphasize everything in relation with the Supreme Lord and no one else. In fact, there is nothing existent except the Lord. So this is the real message of Narada Dev, that you have described everything in relation to the demigods, fruitive activities, jnana, kanda, and little bit bhakti kanda. But you describe everything in relationship with the Lord, then you will be satisfied, and so will everyone else will be. And Prabhupada gives a nice example of the root of the tree. He's saying, the Lord is the root of the complete tree. He is the stomach of the complete body. Pouring water on the root is a right process to water the tree, as much as feeding the stomach supplies energy to all parts of the body. So Prabhupada is writing, or Narada Muni is also saying, that if you just satisfy the Supreme Lord, everybody else will be satisfied. But then the question arises, many times people ask this question, then why he just didn't write Srimad Bhagavatam and forget about everything else? Because not everybody is at that level of understanding, at that level of consciousness, that they'll start worshipping the Supreme Lord with love and devotion. That part is not there. So the other literatures are there to gradually raise them up, lift them up to this level of bhakti, where they can perform bhakti to the personality of God. Even when people they go through ages and ages, years, lifetime after lifetime, offering karma kanda activities, worshipping the demigods, and then slowly, they might come even to the level of impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. That's also impersonal feature is one of the aspects. But to get beyond the impersonal feature, it's very, very difficult, actually. Even worshipping Krishna, people do worship Krishna and Ram, but in most of the times, in their mentality is they're just like any other demigod. They're like Devi Devta. We worship them for some material gains. Of course, Krishna still says in Bhagavatam that even if somebody comes to me with all the desires, it's still better, it's still okay. than not coming to me at all. But it is very, very rare. Even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchid yati siddhai. Out of thousands and thousands of men, hardly one tries to attain perfection. And out of thousands and thousands of those, hardly one attains me. This is how rare bhakti is, how rare people trying to practice devotion services. So that's why Vyasa Dev has given different scriptures, different literatures for everybody else. Okay, you follow that. Everybody is, we could say anybody is wrong in the approach. Well, it is their level of approach, so it's okay. There's nothing wrong. I mean, of course, it's not the best thing to do, but it's not complete. It's their level. Just like if somebody in first grade of math, for him 1 + 1 = 2 or 2 + 2 = 4, that is ultimate math. But for somebody who's in postgraduate, he will be doing all sorts of calculus and integral and differentiation. He might be doing that. For him, that is ultimate. But that he would say the student in first grade is wrong. He's not at all wrong. So we have to approach everybody when we preach or when we talk to somebody. In a way, they are not wrong, they're just on a different level, that's all. So you can preach them that way with compassion, with love, and try to uplift them, and still somebody doesn't want to take it up, it's okay. At least we might have to accept everybody else. So preaching is to be with hope. Or the transformation of the soul, you can only use love, real way of love. Ask him, implore him. Okay, why don't you take up this? Take it up, push the service. Still somebody doesn't want to. So everybody's level of realization is different, consciousness is different. Everybody is on their own level of journey, at their own speed they're going in the lives. It's okay. Okay, then Prabhupada writes in the end that example of the boat disturbed by whirling wind is suitable in this respect. The diverted mind of the pantheist. Pantheist means when we start worshipping demigods, we think that God is everywhere or everybody is God, that kind of philosophy. The diverted mind of the pantheist can never reach the perfection of self-realization due to the disturbed condition of the selection of object. So they haven't selected the object properly where they can focus their mind upon. They think everybody is God. So it's a problem. They cannot focus, so they get the desired result. Text 15. Jukupsitam dharma krite anushasatah svabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikramaha yadvakyato dharma iti tara stito na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is really condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy because the soul wants to enjoy. It's made of Sat, Chit and Ananda, Ananda and bliss. So it wants to enjoy, have all kinds of happiness. And Narada Muni is saying, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. So in the name of religion, what Vyasa Dev gave Dharma, Artha, Kam, and Moksha. So follow some religious process, Dharma, get some Artha, get some money, get some material benefits, and then enjoy in calm, sense gratification. And this is in the name of religion, it's going on. But this is when, although Vyasa Dev did define or did describe moksha afterwards, but Narada Muni is saying people not go for moksha. Moksha liberation one gets to when one is completely frustrated out of calm, out of enjoying the senses. But people, especially in Kali Yuga, they think, okay, if I didn't enjoy this way, I'll try to enjoy some other way, I'll try to enjoy some other way. And this is the aim of life. The aim of life has become eat, drink, and be merry. Khao, piyo, jio. That's it. And this is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they're guided under instructions, means they will say that it's all mentioned in scriptures. And of course, what is also mentioned in scriptures is you do some yajna, do some tapa, do some dan on this day to this person or this kind of deities you can worship, and then you will go to heaven. And heaven is what? Heaven is full-fledged, 100% sense gratification. So there in heaven, we don't have rush hour traffics, we don't have 9 to 8 jobs, we don't have these kind of diseases where body is aching, body is not functioning properly. For thousands of years, people enjoy, complete enjoyment is there. Of course, only toward the end, towards the last phase of life, they get old and they die. But throughout the time, when they're living there, they really enjoy. But if the enjoyment is there, and so is the pain when they leave the heaven. They have to all following the scriptures like that. Even if somebody goes to heaven, enjoys over there for thousands of years, still he has to come back. Kshine punya marte lokam vishanti. After the punya karmas are over, one has to return back on this earthly planet and get again into the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So what's the point in wasting the time like that? But this, to come to this level of understanding is very difficult. To come to this level of realization is very rare. And that's why Bhagavad Gita talks about it. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam praprate. Many lifetimes, one who has knowledge surrenders to me. This is what Krishna says. So in the purport, Prabhupada writing, Srila Vyasa Dev's compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performances of fruitive activities is acted in other literature is herewith by Srila Narada. Human beings, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to lord it over material energy. To lord it over material energy means they're trying to control and trying to enjoy this material energy. This is what we saw on Nrsimhadev appearance. Hiranyakashipu also did the same thing, exactly the same thing. Of course, different proportion. He wanted to control. He controlled pretty much the whole universe, except Brahmaloka. He had full control over the whole universe, every single planet and every single opulence of every single planet. He was a controller, whole soul in charge. Why? Because he wanted to enjoy this material energy. The only problem was he could not control his 5-year-old boy. And then he could not control his own senses. The problem is there. The real controller is one who controls his senses. And then he can really enjoy. Enjoyment is actually within. Everything is within us. The enjoyment, real enjoyment is within. It's not outside. When the soul is rejoicing in its union with the Lord, it's happy in with the Lord. It's happy thinking about the Lord, remembering the pastimes of the Lord. On the mental level, we can serve the Lord if we cannot do it on the physical level, and that satisfies the soul. That is a real happiness. When a soul is blissfully happy in chanting the holy names of the Lord, that's a real happiness. It's not outside. When we look for, oh, I'll become happy if I have this kind of house or this kind of car or this gold jewelry or diamond jewelry or platinum jewelry or whatever. Or if I have this kind of skin, I have this kind of body, I have this kind of figure, I have this kind of palace in this country of the world, I will be happy? No. People in America are also miserable. People in Japan are also miserable. People in the United Kingdom are also miserable. And so are the people in heavenly planets. They're also miserable, actually miserable. Because demons are always attacking the heavenly planets. And there is envy all over the material universe. We are in the material world because we are envious. We were envious of the Supreme Lord. And when we fall down, we become envious. Be happy. And so many people are projecting this negative energy on us. And we are trying to defend ourselves. And even if suppose somebody says, I'm not envious of anybody else, at least we are trying to defend ourselves from that negative energy. How can we remain happy? Not possible in the material world. The only possibility is if we are spiritually immune, spiritually protected, then we can be happy. The happiness is inside. And actually, it is also said, the mind, face is the index of the mind, or frankly speaking, not even the mind. If the soul is happy, the mind will be happy and it will show up on the face. So that's why the face of spiritual people who are really advanced, the face is always glowing. Because they're happy within. And the faces of even a materially very rich person, and chances are he will not be happy, and it will be dull. He might be materially rich, he might make use of many chemicals or makeups or this or that to look his skin glow, but the face will not be happy. It will always be disturbed. It will always be in some kind of pain or problem. So what is it we are trying to achieve? Ultimately, soul wants to be happy. And we think we'll be happy by achieving that, procuring that. No. And this is what Srila Narada Dev is trying to tell Vyasa Dev. This is where you made the mistake. You told everything, how to even to go to heavenly planets, but you didn't tell them about the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. How can a person be happy? It's a long purport, so I'll not go over the whole purport. Just the last paragraph. A patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In the Bhagavad Gita, it's also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry empiric philosophers, but those who are in devotion line should never be so advised. So Narada Muni is saying, in those who are in devotional line, should not be go for fruit activities. They should only be fully fixed in the devotional service. So, but he's saying, since you told scriptures, how can some joy? So his mind might get disturbed. You should have only, Narada Muni is saying, you should have only described in the devotional service, because that gives the ultimate result. But obviously, Vyasa Dev had his own reasons of giving all the scriptures, and Krsna himself has given the Vedas. It's not the Vyasa Dev only compiled the Vedas. The Vedas came from Krsna, and basically Vedas give the knowledge of Kanda, because not everybody will be interested in bhakti. Pure unalloyed devotion service from very beginning, not possible. Vichakshano asyarati veditum vibhur anantaparasya nivritata sukham pravartamanasya gunaatmanas tato bhavan darshe cheshtitam. Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only very extraordinary, retired from the activities of material happiness, deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization. By your goodness, through descriptions of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada is writing, again, all very wonderful purport by Prabhupada, and I cannot go over the whole thing. Srimad Bhagavatam is a topmost theological science, and therefore it can react on the layman as medicinal dose. Because it contains the transcendental activities of the Lord, there is no difference between the Lord and the church. So it has the same position as the Lord. The literature is a factual literary incarnation of the Lord. So the layman can hear the narration of the activities of the Lord, thereby to associate with the Lord and thus gradually become purified from material diseases. So this is what Bhagavatam does. It describes the pastimes of the Lord, the glories of the Lord, and glories of the devotees of the Lord. So the person gradually becomes purified of his material consciousness, and they'll start liking or developing some taste for all these pastimes and glories. The expert devotees also can discover novel ways and means to convert the non-devotees in terms of particular time and circumstance. Devotional service is a dynamic activity, and the expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. Such transcendental activities of the devotees for the service of the Lord can bring a new order of life to the foolish society of materialistic men. So everybody is on a different level, as we discussed earlier, but expert devotees or the preachers, they discover new and new ways to bring people to the real platform of happiness, to the real, which is the platform of bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his subsequent followers exhibited expert dexterity in this connection. By following the same method, one can bring the materialistic men of this age of quarrel into order of peaceful life and transcendental realization. So the best way that Srila Prabhupada has given us is engaging people in Sankirtan, giving them a chance to dance and chant the holy name, giving them a chance to enjoy prasadam. Prasadam is really a crowd puller. In fact, I also got attracted by going to the temple, and first time I had prasadam, I said, wow, this is wonderful. I'll come again and again. I didn't know. A few months later, I would be cooking that prasadam. I didn't know that. Devotees were really expert. It's like throwing the hook to get the fish. The prasadam is like that. So prasadam, basically everybody attracted by prasadam, and then the kirtan, chanting, and everybody, especially in the young age, everybody likes to dance. So plenty of dancing there while we are doing kirtan. And if somebody really gets into the groove, let us say, then let him give the books, let him understand the philosophy. So this is how people in the path of bhakti. The maintenance is very, very difficult. Maintenance and make them for the process. Devotees come to pay, and they. If we have enjoyed the process of get into it, we should try to remain in the process and make progress. And it is very sweet. The whole process is very sweet, and the end result is more sweet. So I would say, and wow, no questions means everybody agrees completely. Radha Prabhu, somehow I don't see Subbu Prabhu anymore. Is he out of town? You have to turn on your mic.
He's there very much in the office, not gone out anywhere.
Okay.
We'll take with him.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we don't have a question, so we can stop here. Everybody have a wonderful day. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Krishna.